Hey, welcome to another episode of the Second Syndicate, where the second is first. I'm Teddy Collins. I'm here with my lovely co-host, Alicia Garcia, who is, we have some really special guests tonight. Alicia, do you want to introduce our guests?
Hey, everybody, welcome to our show. This is a really awesome show that we have for you today. I have some really great guys that joined
Second is
me
first.
on our
I'm
two-way
Teddy
journey.
Collins. I'm here with my
Very,
lovely
very
co-host,
presently this
Alicia
past year,
Garcia,
we have
who
Scott
is,
Shamblin
we have
and
some
we
really
have
special
Mark
guests tonight.
Nilson.
Alicia, do you
Scott
want to introduce?
Shamblin is a big advocate for freedom. I met Scott down at the Capitol last year testifying against the assault weapons ban. He's been nothing but love towards us and our cause. We also have Mark Nilson. He is the state director, is that correct?
Yeah,
State chair
state chair.
for the Young Americans for Liberty. It's a great organization. One of the things that we really want to get more involved is the youth. And it's very exciting to see that we have these very intelligent, strong, and outspoken young men getting more involved in conservative movements in the fight for the Second Amendment. So they join us here today. Thanks, guys.
They are the future.
Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you. So just a quick few updates before we get the show going. Teddy and I are very, very proud to announce and share with you that every Friday morning on Kim Munson Show, it's KLZ 650 AM, or you can go to the KLZ app. You can listen to us every Friday, 7:10 a.m. We are now the new voice of the Second Amendment on the Kim Munson Show. So check us out there for live updates on everything 2A in Colorado. We are also teaming up with X America News, which is X Platform newest freedom of speech platform. So
Yeah, one of the few pilot programs for media that's going to be allowed on X and promoted by X. It's a national media agent or network, I should say, with multiple shows running on it. We will be running a show on there twice a week, with the times to be announced here soon, which
that's
is going to
pretty
be big,
awesome. I know. I can't believe people even like us. I'm like,
I
this
know.
is great. This is
I know.
funny. Like, why are you even
Especially
care?
you.
But hey, I'm pretty awesome. Just so you know. Just so you know. So we want to jump into it. We do have some 2A updates. You want to bear the bad news of that?
Yeah, so a couple updates on the 2A side here, at least in Colorado. There are rumors. These rumors have yet to be confirmed, but there is a draft going around for a bill that will be introduced, from what we're being told here before the legislative session which ends on May 7th. That would essentially create a gun registration by the state of Colorado, and also put a limit to the amount of firearms a person can purchase or possess in the state of Colorado. Again, these are rumors. We are waiting for more details to arrive. We have seen the rough draft of a bill that is being structured to be introduced during the lightning round in the last 10 days of the legislature. So instead of backing off, it seems like they're going pedal to the metal, coming after our rights even more in Colorado. So fun stuff. We'll have an announcement on a rally that we are planning here before the end of the legislature, and we will bring those details to you here shortly.
Head over to the2ndsyndicate.com, the2ndsyndicate.com, and sign up for our newsletter. Shoot us your email address. That way, when we do have things going on, we can reach everybody and let you know. Also, go and follow us at all of our platforms, on X platform, on Facebook. I know it's archaic, but you know what? People still use it. Follow us on Instagram and let us know that you want to be involved. We would love to have you.
And follow X America News on the X platform as well for our show, plus many other conservative shows that will be airing on there and are airing on there.
Make sure to also subscribe, hit that like, ring that bell, and continue to support the show. We have a significant effort right now on this platform to shadow ban our voice, because we are talking about pew-pews and freedom. So it really helps us when you subscribe, when you engage, and you share our content.
Especially ringing the bell so you receive notifications when we post new content and we go live.
So thank you guys for doing that. Well, let's just jump into it. So Shamblin, welcome to the show. Very, very glad to have you. We've been wanting you on the show for quite some time. I want to share to the world the first time that I ever saw or knew who Scott Shamblin was. He is a fertilizing person, was what I remember him saying about himself. So it was last year for the assault weapons ban hearing, and the Capitol is packed. There's multiple rooms with people packed in there. And they call this young man to the table for him to read his testimony. And he starts off by saying how all this gun control is great because nobody should have guns and everything should be soft and squishy like his manhood. And he starts going off on this tangent very satirically about how Daddy Joe Biden is his waifu. And at first I was like, who is this kid? I was super annoyed because I was like, what is this person saying all these things? And then I caught on like, oh my goodness, he's being very satirical and he's doing it in a very clever way. And at the end of his testimony, the entire place was just like, whoa. And after that, I was like, oh, I got to know this kid. And since then, I have followed his journey. He's gone a lot of momentum. He's gaining a lot of attention for his cleverness and his wittiness. Scott Shamblin, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
he's arguing with satire and wit, and it's something that not a lot of people can do or pull off. In fact, I think you had some people thinking you were serious last year in your testimony. I think it was Rep Bacon or one of the other reps that didn't understand that it was satire. Carl, do we have an example of one of his testimonies we can put up on screen, or is that something we can do a little later possibly? Okay, 1 second. I think we're going to get an example here just to show you guys what we're talking about because it is hilarious. It is awesome. And it shows you as well as how intelligent some of our reps are that they don't understand it.
Yeah, Rep Bacon, I think you're right. She asked if Rep Epps wrote my testimony
to it
because that's what she believes. What I said is what she believes. I basically was spewing Marxist, communist talking points.
I think you introduced yourself as a socialist in that
Yeah,
satire.
I introduced myself as an anti-fascist democratic socialist, and it's good to see a fellow comrade propose this bill. So without too many spoilers, if we're going to play it, but yeah, so last year, one of many years that I've been down at the Capitol testifying, and I usually testify on the really contentious bills, Second Amendment being one of them, and I ended up testifying on one last year, and I decided to do so satirically. So I called up a friend of mine. I was like, "Hey, you want to help me write a satirical, funny testimony?" And she was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And so we ended up doing that, and that one went viral. And well, what's the next big bill? It's the assault weapon ban. And so did the assault weapon ban, did like 3 more gun bills, did some other issues. I showed up to the Aurora City Council once in what's it called? Cornrows. I had my hair actually braided in cornrows.
You did?
Very marked
Yeah,
down.
you haven't seen that one?
No.
I think we got an example of. Are we ready to go on that, Carl? We're going to go on and play a little example of your testimony just to show people what it is you do in
Scott Shamblin.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
My name is Scott Shamblin. I support this ordinance. Personally, I believe the agenda item is incredibly important. We should not allow firearms in sensitive spaces, which is why I believe we should prohibit carrying firearms in these sensitive spaces. Appendix carry, aka groin carry, is common practice where a firearm is carried inside the waistband aimed towards the groin, which is perhaps the most sensitive of spaces. Accidents are rare, but to further reduce the chances of a spontaneous gender-affirming combustion, or self-neuter, as often called amongst the...
is common practice where a firearm is carried inside the waistband aimed towards the groin, which is perhaps the most sensitive of spaces. Accidents are rare, but to further reduce...
That's good. That's good.
Still going?
It's still going.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not sure why it's doubling.
Yeah, we're having a little bit of a double technical feed, but I think the people got the majority of it. You can see what we're talking about. It's freaking hilarious. And the one that he did at the state legislature was even better than that. So that was good stuff. We appreciate what you do, Scott.
Now that one was that one I think I had just ran into the room and they called me, so I was kind of out of breath.
Sure.
But yeah, the ones at the legislature were definitely better.
Well, this session we testified together on the same panel, and I forget what gun bill it was, but one of the things Scott said was, you know, taking your money, telling you how to spend it, what you can and
You
cannot
want me to
do.
just read it?
Yeah,
I'll read
please
it.
do.
Sure.
Yeah.
I got it.
We'll fix
I got
it.
it.
We'll fix that in post.
So that one I didn't put on YouTube, but it's on my X at scottpshamblin. But that one I read. Let's see. The guns this bill infringes upon may be necessary for women in domestic violence situations. Ladies, if he lies to you, doesn't respect your privacy, wastes your money, forces you to pay off his debts, starts unnecessary fights, wants to monitor your bank account and credit card purchases, tries to say you and your children are his property, that's not your man, that's Colorado state government.
I love it. And everybody's mouth was like, I was like, thank you so much for finally bringing some truth through laughter and satirical comedy, because I think sometimes we get so pent up in these scenarios that people get a little crazy and it gets really aggressive. And when you have a little bit of relief, it also brings a lot of truth, and it pokes a little bit of fun at the legislators that truly do share a lot of these perspectives. So it's a reflection to them just how ridiculous they sound.
Absolutely.
So we also have Mark Nilson. He is with an organization called YAL, Young Americans for Liberty. They actually joined us at our event 2 weeks ago for the Lily Tang Williams event. They were gracious enough to donate an item for a giveaway, which was an Otis gun cleaning kit, about a $160 gun cleaning kit. It was really nice. And they brought their entire staff to come out, give up some swag, and kind of encourage people of all different walks of life and of youth in their age group to come out and get involved in politics. I think that's one of the things that we're facing right now, is that we don't have a lot of youth getting involved. And Mark and Yal are bringing that to the forefront of the movement. So feel free to tell us a little bit more about yourself, Mark, and what Yal does.
Yeah, thanks a ton. So Young Americans for Liberty is a student rights activism org. So I'm not quite as fun as Scott. I more beat up the politicians who don't vote our way. And we started as students for Ron Paul during his 2008 and 2012 campaigns. Obviously, he had a huge youth movement behind him and is a lot of what spurred the Liberty movement nationwide. Our mission is to connect, educate, and activate interested student leaders and, of course, future leaders of our movement in that. Many activists, of course, or many students out there who'd be interested simply need to have a connection point. That I have had many students just thrilled and excited that there is an org out there fighting for what they believe in, and they just need to know that we're out there and start getting involved. And we provide leadership training and great networks. We have multiple conventions through the year and student trainings and partner organizations who provide training as well, so that we can teach students how to be good leaders, activists. And it's a lot of even just basic stuff for management and leadership. And really our goal is to bring students to a position where they can make the change that they want to see in their lives and interested areas.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Sorry. We're at the Lily Tang Williams meet and greet and the Libertarian Party of Colorado dinner as well, with great tables. You'll see us at quite a few of these liberty-related events going forward. So if y'all want to come meet me and my associates and get some swag from us, we love to give out free stuff that supports liberty. Some examples, of course, are these signs behind me. I'm using a blocked out light. Print guns, not money. Don't hurt people, don't take their stuff, since I know I kind of block them. That one says not a victim, and it's in reference to the McCluskeys, who I'm sure most of y'all are aware of. Castle Doctrine, an MLK quote, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." By the way, joining our org gets you a free t-shirt of this "Don't Trust the Government" and this wristband. It's $10 a year, which is nothing for the connections I'll bring you and the ability to fight for your state.
I joined. Where's my t-shirt? Are they going to send that to me?
So it is in your way. I've had everyone recently get theirs, so I didn't know that you hadn't gotten it yet. I'll double check with Ben.
So I got to say, what you guys are doing is extremely important. A lot of people don't realize that we have to leave something for the generation that follows us. We have to leave things better than what we found or how we found them. That's what your organization's doing. At universities and schools, people are in our society are being taught to be corporate drones, to follow orders. They're not taught to be free thinkers. They're not taught to be nonconformist. You guys are breaking the mold, and it's extremely important we do that, or we're going to see our politics, we're going to see our 2A rights shrink further and further every year. We need you guys, and it's really important, again, what y'all are doing. So please support them. Please support their organization. Support what they're doing. We need to leave things better than how we found them.
So I was talking to Mark on the phone yesterday, and it's because he had sent me a text and said, hey, we're going to have some people canvassing in the Pueblo area for a certain, for some causes. And he said, I really hope that you have some people and some activists in that area that could support us. And I said, hey, just call me. And I said, we have so many things going on right now. We have so many cooks in the kitchen and so many things that are coming to fruition that we're working on right now. Teddy and I are, burning the candle at both ends. I said, but what we can do, just because we personally can't be there helping canvas or do those things, what we can do is put more of a spotlight on the efforts and the work that you guys are doing. And I think right now there is a significant shadow banning and a significant censorship on what the conservative youth and what the pro-freedom youth is doing right now. So I said, well, if this is the power that we have, I want to share it. So tell us a little bit more about both of your experiences with canvassing and what that entails and how to get people involved into doing that.
Mark, you should go first on that.
Okay. So in terms of what canvassing can do and why it matters, actually that was next on my section, is that we've successfully at Colorado School of Mines with our grassroots pressure overturned the Colorado School of Mines vaccine and mask mandates. And a few weeks ago, I was lit dropping, which is what we're doing here. We're not trying to door knock. Frankly, we're autistic introverts. Why would we talk to people? But we lit drop and doing so in Pueblo a couple weeks ago with Rocky Mountain gun owners. We put a bit of the pressure on that helped Nick Henriksen vote right on Senate Bill 3. And across the country, we have had successful campaigns around free speech, especially free speech zones on campus, having rights to what you can say. Colorado School of Mines right now is fighting a new free speech policy, which would include that you can't disparage the school's interests. So when Lockheed's buying your buildings, but it's a problem. We also fight for campus weapons rights, which is a big issue in Pueblo. We're actually fighting a ban on weapons on campus right now.
The Sensitive Spaces Bill, is that correct?
No, actually not that. It's that most campus policy has language barring weapons, and
Yes.
they don't cut out self-defense schools.
Little known fact that you should know. That's how I started in 2A activism. I was Students for Concealed Carry on campus. I was my student body president as well, that did the tie-breaking vote to allow an initiative for a student-wide vote for concealed carry on campus, first one ever in the state of Texas. So I am huge into that, and it is something that we need nationwide. Why are these adults, these voting age adults that are old enough to go and die for our country, disarmed in the places where the majority of these mass shootings happen?
Not only mass shootings, but assault.
Well,
Right.
also the dorms, even the like where they live on campus, they live
know.
there. They can't have them in their residences.
I know.
It's crazy.
And that terrifies me. I have a relative of mine, a very, very special young lady who is 21 years old, and she's on a college campus, and you have no idea how much it bothers me that I can't arm her and know that she has a gun there with her.
And a lot of the dorms even have as a part of the contract that you can't bring tasers or pepper spray into the dorms.
Not even
wow,
less lethal.
really?
Yeah, so less lethal is prevented on most college campuses as well.
When I said weapons, I wasn't even referring to campus carry, because that's a bill
Wow.
that passed last year. For those
Yes,
unaware,
sensitive spaces.
yeah, right, the sensitive spaces.
Took back something that was granted here in Colorado.
So back in, I think, the 90s, there was a case that was formed saying indeed that students should be able to carry on campus, and they indeed said yes, they are supposed to. Last year in the 2024 legislative session, the Democrats proposed a sensitive spaces bill that would disarm people in churches, in parking lots, on sidewalks of these places. All of these extra spots. But what they do is they know they're not going to get away with that. So they overcompensate for what they want to take from you and then whittle it down to make sure, hey, you know what? This is the true goal. We just want to be able to disarm these places. So through that bill, they were able to impose, even on people with concealed carry permits, that you now cannot conceal carry on college campuses, in daycares or where daycares are, or buildings that are conducting government business. And now, how are we supposed to know where and what that is? So I'm a notary. So what if I conduct some notary business in a building? Does that suddenly give the law a reason or the ability to disarm me?
Something I was telling my roommate last night was you have to remember that on these bills, the laws bend against us. We're not bending the laws in our favor here.
Yeah.
They have control. And of course, the fact that we've increased pressure, the fact that we broke the supermajority and there is pressure is why they're radicalizing and pushing these crazy bills. I mean, the exact principle you talked about scaling up and backing down was just seen with Senate Bill 3. I was there in sitting outside watching that chamber as they gutted it and reformed it until 2 in the morning. And it was it's a pain, and they did that, and now they've passed what's an effective ban while claiming that's just about public safety and improved training. And that is that while that we can't fight that bill, the day of action that I was telling Alicia about yesterday is a Young Americans for Liberty event where we bring in activists from all over. Actually, a couple of the other fights we won, by the way, one of them was COVID Bluetooth tracking, which I believe was with one of the state chairs who's coming to support us. Those state chairs being from Wyoming, South Dakota, and Montana, who are some of our most experienced and successful state chairs with powerful chapters that have instituted great reform in their area. South Dakota is currently fighting for a campus carry bill that would allow for campus carry. And another one, by the way, is meal plan campaigns. That's one we've done, and we just passed a bill, or we're fighting for a bill in Oklahoma that should, or just passed, I need to double check, that would make meal plans optional on all campuses in the state. But circling back to this day of action, we'll be bringing in activists from, 3 other states, great chapters. These people are very successful and experienced in what they do. I'm relatively new to the organization, but very enthusiastic in trying to get after it, get the change we want. So I'll be bringing in what activists I can, but need more. I have less of that base than those guys do. And we need to get more action done in Pueblo. So we'll be just lit dropping. We'll decide what bill we decide to fight next week because we need to know what's relevant to the legislative session at the time. But that'll happen early on. I'll inform people as soon as we decide. Of course, we will carpool, help with gas, reimbursements, whatever's needed to logistically get people there and supporting Liberty. And I'll create a group chat early next week for anyone who signs up. I posted on my Twitter the link to sign up for this, and I can send it or post it as needed for y'all.
Will you share your Twitter handle for everybody?
Sure. It's to end the state. And
Nice.
yeah,
We'll get Carl to put that in the description too. Absolutely.
Awesome.
And guys, for those of you tuning in, I do want to just something that we didn't really talk about much today that we may have talked about in our last episode, something that makes our channel different, the Second Syndicate different than almost any other 2A podcast out there, is we are now a 501c4 nonprofit.
Woohoo!
So what does that mean? That means that every dollar we take into this, at minimum 50% of that will be used for lobbying efforts for bill proposition. Ballot initiatives. Thank you.
Recall efforts,
rallies, things that affect the 2A, if not working in tandem with other 2A organizations. This gives us the ability to do that. So unlike a lot of the other shows out there, if not the large majority of them, anything that comes into this show through your super chats, through your donations, through buying merchandise for the Second Syndicate goes back to the 2A. That's huge. It just shows that we're not just talking the talk, that we walk the walk over here, and we really believe in supporting the 2A and protecting it.
And so if there's companies out there, if there's organizations out there that want to get more involved in the Second Amendment in Colorado, but you're wondering how, well, this is the start. That's exactly why we created the Second Syndicate. It's definitely more than just our show. It is a movement.
It's a 2A
we want
movement
to incorporate every voice out there in Colorado and nationally that are pro 2A. So we don't care what your political affiliation is. We don't care about your other beliefs. This is a 2A organization. How we feel about our own beliefs and our personal things is one thing. We have other organizations that we work with that support those beliefs. However, here at the Second Syndicate, we champion the 2A. So if you feel that you want to get involved, you have a specific skill set, if you can't donate your money, please donate your time.
Yeah, I mean, just look at what we've been able to accomplish this legislative session and the last without any funding. I mean,
I know.
God, we're really going to change the game here in Colorado and hopefully nationally as well for the Second Amendment.
And unfortunately, we are up against billionaires. We're up against Bloomberg. We're up against all of these big corporations as well.
There's a stat out there for every for every pro-gun dollar that comes in, there's about 20 anti-gun dollars coming in from special interest.
So we have to control that narrative, and we have to change the way people look at the defense of civil rights. When I hear people say, well, I didn't even know this was going on, or, hey, I donate $25 a year to my local government organization, they'll fight this for me. That's not enough. You need to get involved. You need to use your voice. Look at these young men that are setting an example for what it means to stand up for what you believe in and make an effort. We need to encourage more people, more youth to get involved in politics.
Guys, and even if you can't financially donate or contribute through activism or showing up to the rallies or things of that nature, you can at least share our videos. You can at least share the word, spread the word so that other people know. That goes a long way. It helps us. It helps the 2A. We appreciate everything that those of you who are already doing that are doing. What y'all are doing. We hope that more will help us out. I mean, we are fighting a really heavy anti-2A algorithm on YouTube
and that
today.
helps our guests as well.
We've got close to 500,000 subscribers, and I think we're only at like 50 people watching right now. I mean, it'll have a couple thousand reviews afterwards, but that's no bueno. Oh, Alex the Truck, $10 super chat. Thank you, brother.
Alex the Truck, not to brag, but I'm a 100-dare. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for supporting us and donating to the channel. Please, everybody, be like
Give him
Alex
a round
the
of
Truck.
applause in the comments, guys. Give him some claps. Thank you very much.
So one of the things I wanted to shed some light on is how involved these young men are. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of gumption to get up every day, head down to the Capitol, and know that these people are going to be disrespectful for you. They're not going to pay attention to you. They're going to dismiss you. They're going to overlook you, and they're going to treat you like garbage. And for us to get up every day, head down there, keep the fight, stay in their face, keep putting on the pressure, takes a lot of wherewithal. And that's something both of these young men do very, very well. And I feel very honored that we are beginning to create an organization that brings in people like yourselves that are willing to contribute and help us out. I want to talk a little bit more about what do you feel are the most important efforts right now for the youth and getting more youth involved, not only in college campuses, but testifying in public committee and getting more involved in politics.
And then also from Scott, I would like to hear what makes a successful testimony. Some things that you've seen that work for you, the humor, of course, and logic. But yeah, let's
hold on 1 second. K-Shoot, we just got a $50 super chat. Thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause.
That's nice. It must be on our other channel. Oh, I forgot about the other channels we're streaming on. We have a few hundred on the other, so that not too bad.
Remember,
Awesome.
we fight at 10x the money we're getting, so each of those is 10 times that against our opponents.
That's
Exactly.
True. That's true. So you're saying by donating, they're helping the anti-gunners because they're receiving. No, I'm just kidding. That's girl math.
Don't do it. Don't do it. So what makes for a successful testimony, do you think?
So there's a couple things. So I usually use ridicule. Not everybody is good at ridicule, and if you're not good at ridicule, that's fine. You don't have to use ridicule. Let people that are good at it use it. But for me, when I'm using ridicule, it's taking it. We're largely going against Marxists. The people that are trying to take your guns, they're Marxists, they're communists. So just take one of their other beliefs and then apply that logic to guns. It could be anything. Apply it to the gun issue, and that's pretty much how I write the testimonies. For most people testifying, what I usually tell them is there's two things that the people trying to take your guns care about: emotional stories and appeals to authority.
Yeah, they don't care about facts. They like the emotion.
They don't really care. Like somebody's going to put
Clifford.
the facts out. You don't have to be that person. Somebody else is going to do it. Other pro-gun members of the committee are going to put the pro-gun facts out. You're there to appeal to authority. So it's like, oh, I'm a XYZ, put in your lived experiences. And then you put in an emotional story of like, hey, this is the time I feared for my life, and I would have felt a lot better to have a gun then, or I did have a gun and I was able to defend myself. I myself have had a gun drawn on me. It's not very fun.
I remember
So,
that. We got that
yeah.
actually on camera as well.
I got it on camera. Yeah, I was doing some activism on another issue, and a guy was very not happy about that. And so he pulled a gun on me and my friends.
Yeah.
I did not drop him. I ended up letting the police take care of him. But
Still scary
was
to
the thing.
life flash
I had
before
the
your
option.
eyes, things of that nature occur. And you're just doing what you want to do to help people. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So Shamblin's very involved in a lot of very conservative causes. We would love to talk about those things here, but we can't because of the way the algorithms work and the words and how inflammatory those things are.
Definitely check him out, though.
But please go check out Scott Shamblin and all the other activism that he's involved with. There's a woman by the name of Julie in the chat that said Scott Shamblin has a new fan right there. So
There you go.
this is why it's important to share the wealth when we have these talks and we have these shows, is because it's not always about, you know, who's the biggest name that we can get on our show. We want to put a spotlight on the regular people that are out here in the trenches, in the foxholes with us, that are putting in the work and making things happen, because a lot of times this is a very thankless effort, right?
It's not always the person that gets all the credit. It's the people working behind the scenes.
Well, there's a lot of big organizations that shall remain nameless, not the ones that are friendly to us, but there's other ones that always want to say, oh, we can't help Colorado, you guys are a lost cause. But when it comes to federal level stuff or national news stuff, they want to chime in and say, oh, we helped did that, or look what we are doing over here, donate some more money. What they don't see are people like Teddy and I, people like Shamblin, people like Mark, that are making this their life. They're sacrificing their
trenches.
weekends. They're sacrificing their time with their, you know, friends and their loved ones to be out there fighting for righteousness and fighting for liberty. And that takes a lot of courage and a lot of dedication.
Going back to the testimony bit, I get asked. I led a testimony training a couple days ago. A bunch of ticked off moms on another issue, but led a training. They actually had us do a mock committee. They had me lead one, and a guy in the back who was very passionate about Senate Bill 3 was asked, "Hey, they've already made up their mind. Why does it matter if I testify?" And I gave him 4 reasons. Number 1 is you go film yourself doing that. You can pull the video if you do it on Zoom. You can screen record that, or you can have your selfie camera on. If you're in person, put on your selfie camera and film you doing it. Put it on your social media. It could be your X, it could be your Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is. Put it on there, and then your friends see, oh, this thing's going on. I had no idea that was going on. This has happened multiple times to me. Also, engaging people or educating people civically, because nobody has any idea that you can just walk into the Capitol and talk to a senator.
Yeah.
They don't know that you can go to committees. When people find out that I go testify all the time, they're asking, like, what?
Who do you know?
You can do that? You can that's really cool. You can do that. I'm like, yeah, come on down. I'll bring you. So it's engaging people civically and telling them what's going on. The second reason, I guess maybe a sub reason, is going to be media perception, because we outnumber them.
Absolutely.
Every testimony
for our
against SB, yeah.
Sure, the commie mommies show up in their red shirts. Moms Demand Action. I probably should have
Boo.
worn my Moms Demand Alcohol shirt.
Yeah.
But,
Moms demand action.
Oh, the red coats.
And so they show up,
Lobster
but
back
if we
pages.
outnumber them, they struggle to get good photos. The next,
Yeah, true.
That's true. It just
true.
to talk on that point and then let you get back to what you were talking about. This legislative session, we outnumbered the proponents of this bill 10 to 20 to 1 in almost every single hearing against 003. In fact, I remember the last hearing, they ran out of testimonies in favor within about 2 hours, and then we went all the way to midnight, and then they cut us off on time with hundreds of people remaining to testify in person, and if not thousands online. It's crazy how much we outnumber them and how much it fell on deaf ears. But at the same time, it was important that we did that. Otherwise, they just would have steamrolled through and done a whole bunch of more anti-gun bills. We bought time. We fought against this bill, and we showed that there was opposition, and that's important.
Mark, when you come down to the Capitol, do you? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. Let's let Scott finish that thought. Sorry.
Yeah, I think I got 2-ish more points.
Yeah, go for it.
Another reason is supporting your elected representatives, the good ones. Support your good ones, because they're down there and they're in the trenches. It's not just the gun issue that they're fighting down there. They're battling on every single issue you could possibly imagine, and many of them are some of the most heinous things you could possibly think, or that you can't even think of.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
They're very
hard to
dangerous.
think of how awful the awful things that they come up with down there. And so these people are fighting that every day. They're putting their marriages on the line, their relationship with their kids. They're not having a good time down there. It's not fun.
And for very little pay.
For no money either.
Yeah, they get paid like 40 grand. It's some of them that are further out. They get like 80 or 100-ish, but still it's not very much for what they get
In the amount of time.
for what they do. Or some of them, it's too much for what they do.
That's true. That's very true.
But
True
supporting your good representatives and senators, and then continuing, you're actually in the room listening to these elected people that are narcissists and they're politicians. They're trying to win a popularity contest. You're hearing the stupid stuff that they say. They don't hear themselves saying the stupid stuff. And so guess what? All of that's recorded and it's public, and you can record it yourself on your phone in the committee room. And then you get to go put it on Twitter and then tag them and say, hey, look at this incredibly stupid person that's your representative or your senator. And then they get destroyed on X.
You're great at doing that too.
That bothers them. It bothers them a lot. I do it. I try to do it multiple times a week, taking a stupid thing that they say on any issue and put it up there. And it destroys them.
Especially with the narcissist, they have to have the last word on that. It's hilarious.
Yeah, they hate it. That was one of them. He did not have a very good 2 weeks. We put out that audio that you guys played during that live stream.
Yeah, someone provided that to us, but that is actual audio of him saying that.
Yeah, he said, I didn't fully come to terms with being gay until I saw a little boy at a friend's funeral.
Crying
He was
his eyes
the gayest little thing. That's what he said. That's Chad.
That's
Just the
exact
gayest
quote.
little thing.
No ad there. Yeah,
That's yikes.
that's not normal.
Also videos of them on their phone during the Senate Bill 3 debate. There's Amy Pascal from Colorado Springs. She's a state rep. She was on her iPad that's like this big, doing a color by number, and she's swiping like
I know,
that.
she's swiping like this.
Swiping, and she has stickers on her table, and she got destroyed. It wasn't just our side on Twitter. It exploded on lids of TikTok. It exploded on basically all of the big Twitter accounts. It exploded on Reddit. Reddit took it, and then all of our Denver communist friends here in Colorado, they were on their subreddits roasting her for being on the House floor. So the leftists, the people that are the exact opposite of who I am, were in agreement with me that this was absolutely ridiculous for her to be on color by number on the House floor during debate on one of the most consequential bills we've had in years.
And a lot of people, if you have never head down to the Capitol and sat and watched these House and Senate floor debates, you would be absolutely appalled to see how egregiously disrespectful a lot of these House representatives and senators are. They're shopping on Amazon. They're talking amongst themselves. They're ordering food and chilling and playing games on their phone. They could absolutely care less while they sit there and entertain themselves while they rob us of our constitutional rights. It's gross.
I'll add to that, by the way Chad Clifford responded. I think maybe it was Scott calling him out for being on his phone. He said, "I already know how I'm going to vote. I don't care about what these guys have to say," which is just
He's getting paid to sit in that room.
He's getting paid to sit
much.
in the room, and he could give a care past that.
Yeah, that email. Somebody emailed him and sent me a screenshot of his response, and he said, I wish I had thought of Netflix. It was a video of him on his phone, and I said, Chad Clifford's watching Netflix on the House floor instead of engaging in debate. And that immediately outraged. I had like 60,000 likes on that. Libs of TikTok took it. It was huge.
Nice.
And he was destroyed online for that.
Yeah, he doesn't like us too much. We showed up to one of his town halls. To be fair, he invited us to show up to one of his town halls, so we took him at his word and live streamed it. He made it about some right-wing conspiracy coordinated effort with multiple 2A organizations to go after him. No, you invited us. We showed up.
Mark was there.
Yeah, we didn't even know you, I don't think, at that time at all. And you showed up.
I think we had encountered each other in conversation, but not in person.
Not in person, yeah. So it was not a coordinated effort. It was natural, and citizens showed up to show their disgust as well for what he's voted for and what he did. We got a hit piece written about us on that. They mentioned my store. What was that, Westward?
Thank you, the
It was
Westward.
Westward. By the way, they said they reached out for comments, but no immediate response. They never reached out. We checked all our calls, all our voicemails. There was nothing. They didn't even ask. It's a complete partisan hit piece. It's pretty awesome.
They included me on that too. And
Did they?
They said they reached out to you and one other group, but they didn't reach out to me.
No, they didn't reach out to us either. It's a
4 or
bunch of
5
BS.
paragraphs in that article about me and my calling Chad out. And nothing.
Well,
I called her out on X, and
They
the author of
mentioned
that article.
they mentioned that we played the sound that was provided to us of Clifford's quotes that you quoted earlier.
Well,
and
she mentioned my whole thread.
but they didn't deny that those were his quotes. That's something very key about that.
So,
those were his
just to
words.
give everybody a synopsis of what we're talking about, a couple weeks ago, we had House Representative, he's District 37, I believe, Chad Clifford.
A gerrymander district, which is mostly rural.
He ran unopposed this last legislative section, or last election, and then before that, he was appointed. So he ran his mouth and said that the 2A people don't get involved. Nobody in his district shows up that's pro 2A.
And no one emailed him against 003. He said very few people, but thousands emailed him in
we know
favor,
thousands
which we know
of
is
people
BS
emailed
because
him. We work with a heavy. We're also on the board of the Colorado Federal Firearms Licensee Association. We know what FFLs that are in his district. We know that they reached out to him. We know that their customers reached out to them.
One
and
of the biggest FFLs in Colorado
lied
is in
and
his
said
district.
that nobody reached out to him. So we said, well, you know what? We're going to reach out to you live and direct in real time. So we get there. I get there, and he tries to cut me off. He tells me that I can't be there, and he's going to give me a link to stream it. And I was like,
He didn't know you
no,
had press
I have
credentials.
freedom of the press, and I have freedom of speech. I'm going to be here. Well, at that time, I didn't realize that Mark, and his crew were also in the audience.
That was just me as
and
an individual.
RMGO.
Oh, it was just you as an individual.
No,
Okay.
not RMGO.
No,
It
but
wasn't-
I mean RMGO was there as well. They did
Yes.
show
They were
there.
up, and
Yes,
several
yes,
other
yes.
organizations.
Yes.
Just me and another my closest coworker who also works with Yao now. We were just going as individuals.
Okay. Well, during that time, Chad Clifford is attacking me. He's making an example out of me. He's cussing. He's losing his cool. But there is
Government tyranny was
Yeah.
And explained his
He
stance
did.
on the Second Amendment, says that 003 is constitutional, things of that nature.
Well-
We've got it all on recording. It's
Well,
gonna
go
be
ahead
great
and
next
check
year.
out a lot of our videos of us live streaming and doing that. Make sure you hit the subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell. Make sure you share our content. Any donation, anything that you guys do to support us, we really appreciate it. We
Timber,
see
thanks
Big
for
Timber
joining
out
the chat,
there.
bro.
I love you, Big Timber. What a great guy. I really appreciate everything that you do for us and for the community, Big Timber. But one of the things I found very interesting at that Chad Clifford event that we were at was there was a very, very disgruntled man in the audience. I'm sure you remember who he is. He had a t-shirt on, a white t-shirt that he took a marker to, and he said, "Guns are for pussies." And he also had it written in pen on the back of his shirt that says, "I don't need a gun to beat your ass." And it was like, isn't that what it had said?
I think there was only like
It
2
did.
anti-gun people in the room to
Yeah,
like 50
him and his
pro-gun
girlfriend.
people or something.
And I want to go a little bit further on that one. When me and my buddy were trying to drop literature at that event, which is of course what freaked out the cops and Chad there, and that guy got up, and when my friend was trying to leave, my friend, by the way,
He got very
crippled.
aggressive.
My friend is crippled. He has a spinal condition and actually had severe foot pain at the time as well, from another issue, an injury related to his condition. And this guy got up and grabbed his papers and shoulder checked him
And dumped him in the garbage.
I think he did that later. Did he get the papers from Phil and throw them, or was that okay?
I remember he got all puffy, got up, went over, stormed over there, got aggressive, started ripping papers from people's hands. I saw him rip papers
that was
from your friend's
after-
hands and like chuck them in the garbage.
I think that was after we exited the room, but that sounds right. I did hear people talking about him doing that. Then when we went outside with the cops, they claimed it wasn't an assault at all. The cop actually then demonstrated on my friend by grabbing the papers from his hand aggressively, and we double-checked Colorado law, and that's a Class 3 felony.
Really?
We're trying to get security to submit it. I want to go against that cop because screw him. But
Must have been one of
it
Clifford's
is
buddies that
technically
showed
just
up.
a rip
You really
something
want to
out of
say a bad word, don't you?
it's ripping something out of someone's hand like that is considered a low-grade felony, and shoulder checking him like that, definitely.
Especially someone that's disabled. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Especially someone that's disabled. And I told Bill after he just stood as strong as he could, but we were saying, like, he could have been knocked over real easily into a row of old people sitting right there.
Yeah.
And I was on his bad foot, so good for him pushing through the pain there, but that was obviously a bad risk. So we asked the cops to lead the guy out by the arm, and he was apologizing on the way out, but like, I believe that, and it took
They
a
let
bit
him
of
stay.
Yeah, they let him stay. Well, at first I said, "Hey, you guys need to kick that guy out," and they said, "No, he didn't do anything wrong." That's when we had the argument about assault, and then
And Chad Clifford also grabbed paper and got all
that
flustered
too.
and was like,
Actually, that's
He did
true.
not
Chad
want those
Clifford
handouts
technically
going
also
around.
assaulted. And Phil Dvorak, by the way, is my friend. We were, he's one of the other leading activists in the state. Chad Clifford actually technically assaulted him as well. It's obviously been hard to get the footage from the library, and no way. The cops said they had their cameras off, and whether or not that was true, I'm sure not getting that. But we'll as is. It just really demonstrates how these people are posturing, and they're really violent narcissists, and just interested in control,
And also only willing to pick on people who are weaker than them.
Exactly. I was standing right next to Phil. This guy could have gone
He didn't
for
come
me.
after you.
You can't see, I'm sure in this video you can't tell, but I'm 6'4", 225, and do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai all day. He could have chosen the real fight, but instead he picked on the cripple who's struggling to walk.
and with a shirt that says in the most male aggressiveness that to own a gun means you are a pussy. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I'm strapped right now, Phil. Whatever,
Guys,
dude.
Let's talk about
because I was definitely worried about being arrested, but
Let's talk about where we go from here in Colorado and nationally. I mean, we do have some national bills which provide some hope for Colorado. We did have a meeting with Congressman Evans earlier today,
Yes, we did.
which
Shout out
provided
to
a
him.
lot of hope on some things that may be coming nationally for change that could affect Colorado as well. We provided some insight on some bills we'd like to see, such as, for example, not allowing any taxpayer dollars to go towards funding something that's against a constitutional right. That would take away the incentive for states like Colorado, states like New York, New Jersey, and other places to institute these FOID card, COID card schemes where they would have to be the ones that provided it. To be fair, we don't agree with it at all, but the state, without using taxpayer dollars in some way or without raising taxes or charging a fee, would have to provide a course and the training that they want required for no fee to the taxpayer to not create a financial burden for someone to exercise their constitutional rights. So we see some of those things on the horizon, the outlook. So this is not a lost cause. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to come with you here soon with a rally that we're planning towards the end of the legislative session. We're hoping to have around 2,500 people there. We're going to make it a big and loud rally. One, to get the Department of Justice attention. We need them to come down on Colorado hard. Hopefully we can get the federal Parks and Wildlife as well to come down on Colorado, because there's a federal law, the Pittman-Robertson Act, which prevents federal funds for parks and wildlife to be used for anything other than conservation. With how this law is written and the fact that in Colorado, SB 003 and the licensing process would be instituted by CPW with a $0 fiscal note, there's no way that they wouldn't be dipping into those funds, which would be in violation of the Pittman-Robertson Act, which would lose Colorado $37 million a year in conservation efforts. So we're hoping the Fed will come
everybody
down.
what
Yeah,
the Pittman-Robertson
absolutely.
is. So the Pittman-Robertson Act of 1937 is to provide funding for wildlife restoration projects in the United States. So it establishes a program of matching federal grants to states funded by an excise tax of firearms, ammunition, and archery equipment. And this has basically created a sanctuary of those lands and those things for Colorado for quite some time. But by doing what they're doing to impose another barrier through the Department of Wildlife, what they're doing is taking federal funds and redirecting that to allow them to enforce gun control with federal funding, and no longer protecting the deer and the elk and the hunting, but to infringe on the rights of the Colorado people. We have a sound that went off. That means somebody loves us. So who did that? Who did that?
Fine City Cycling. Thank you very much for the
always,
super chat,
or
brother.
her, I don't know if you're a guy or girl, but you always come through and you always support. We really appreciate that. It doesn't matter if it's 99 cents. It doesn't matter if it's $5. It doesn't matter if it's 500. Everything you guys do, it helps our algorithm.
Thank you,
It
guys.
helps boost us in the matrix out there to let people know we exist.
And then
it
it
helps
goes towards the
fund
2A.
everything that we're doing here for the 2A, to keep bringing you this content, to keep hosting rallies, to keep hosting at events and putting voices like these two gentlemen on our platform and sharing the knowledge. So thank you very much. We really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are getting down to the wire here. We've got about 5-10 minutes left to continue on.
Yeah, so
the topics
let's
at hand.
have some closing quotes from Mark. You go, and then we'll have Shamblin, and then I'll let you take it home, buddy.
Yeah, so give us a 2A quote, or a quote that we should live by, something that you think is important.
And also, what is your favorite gun?
Yes, doesn't have to be your EDC, but just favorite gun in general.
Scott, you want to go or?
It's hard because you didn't get
Just
any-
one. Just pick one.
I'll pick the who's the quote by? I'm cheating and Googling it.
You're fine. You're fine.
Let's see.
Daddy Joe is my wayview.
I'll
Sorry.
real quick while you do that to cover for you. So a quote I've been thinking of actually earlier in the interview that I wanted to bring up is from Morton Blackwell, the founder of the Leadership Institute, and it's just relative here. It's not directly 2A.
Good. Yeah, let's hear
But
it.
let me try to remember it as close as I can, but political success is determined by the number and effectiveness of activists on each side. So of course, something commonly taught in training is that the way we build is money, people, lists. Obviously, you saw a little bit of money roll in tonight, and we will make 10x the use of that. We have our lists, but we need our people. We need activists. Donate your time. We need the money too. That'll obviously grow us. But activists are what really show engagement in the fact that Colorado has a spirit of liberty, willing to fight. They touched on earlier the idea that a lot of larger orgs are giving up on Colorado. I will be completely blunt. Young Americans for Liberty was telling me that when I started. They were saying Colorado's a lost cause. We're not willing to spend PAC funds there. Can't get election coordinators. And I told them, no, there's a liberty spirit here. We're fighting. We're not there yet, but their minds are changing. We've seen activists rolling in. We've seen cases. We've been fighting these bills. I'm pointing out to them that these Democrats are getting more radical because we broke the supermajority, because they're under pressure, and because they are threatened in their seats. And that's exactly what we we do. We use the confrontational model. We hold politicians accountable to bad action, Republican or Democrat. There are some Republicans who voted poorly on civil asset forfeiture, Ryan Armagost being a big one of those, and nonviolent offenders' Second Amendment rights, which is actually pretty bad. We'll hold them accountable. We will fight them. And we actually have a coalition as well, the Hazlitt Coalition, for our liberty-based legislators, where we support them, train them, keep them in line and fighting for our values.
Shout out to Elizabeth Shipler for her super chat. She is also the maker of this beautiful sign you see behind us that's fabricated out of some metal. Thank you very much for Elizabeth. We really appreciate you.
Yep. So get involved. If you send us money, please send us money. Please get involved. We're, we will make great use of it. We are making great use of it. We're seeing change in Colorado, and it's all about a momentum and the Overton window. And both of those are shifting in our direction, and we need to keep that pressure up. So please join Young Americans for Liberty and join the Day of Action. And get involved. Help us keep winning this fight and prove that Colorado has that liberty spirit, prove that we're willing to do what's needed and that we can be flipped back to what we were 20 years ago.
100% we can.
And thank you, Mark, for your diligence and your effort and your spirit. It's people like you that are willing to say, no, I'm going to prove you wrong, and keep that momentum and keep that focus, because I've heard the same from so many people that I'm not going to make a difference. You're just one person. And now look at us. Look at the organizations that we're putting together and the effort, and us all coming together as a community to fight back with unity. So
I got involved in Young Americans for Liberty just because they stopped me at a table at career fair when I was in engineering school. And then I was just a member who wanted to get shit done and was just enthusiastic. And the more I saw what was going on, the more involved you get. It's a natural path to creating success,
Right on. Well, thank you, Mark.
Oh, and your gun. What's your gun of choice?
Yes, of course. So my favorite gun is, I thought about trying to grab it, but just because it's mine.
Can't do it on live.
Show it on YouTube because I
Well, it's in my truck, so it would take me 5 seconds. How about this? I'll
just
do
tell
it.
us.
His real quick. Well, it's a custom Gold Cup match 1911 from
Good
Colt.
taste. 2 world wars.
Yeah,
Lord's Caliber. I love it.
Absolutely. What else will break the armor of ATF agent? What? How violent am I allowed to be on here? Can we circle back to chat?
Well, hopefully now that we're on X American News, we can start sharing a lot more truth and showcasing the side of the Second Amendment that these platforms are hindering us from doing. So I'm really looking forward to working with them and bringing more honesty and openness and awareness to the true side of the Second Amendment that a lot of us aren't able to see. So
it's not about interpersonal stuff. It's not about even it is about self-defense individually, but it's largely just about tyranny. It's about the fact that an unarmed populace can't resist. It was the first step in every fascist regime. I mean, I'm saying fascist broadly here, of course, to include any sort of statist ideology, but it happened with Chavez in Venezuela, Stalin in Russia, the Nazi Party. I mean, it's about tyranny. It's not about it is about
safety
on a large scale politically, that they make the case about individual shootings, but what they're thinking in the back of their heads is the fact that you can't stop them if you're unarmed.
Well, thank you so much for that sentiment. Shamblin, take it home.
General Mattis, always carry a knife with you, just in case there's cheesecake or you need to stab someone.
That's great.
As for guns, I am a SIG fanboy. I almost exclusively SIGs. Just kidding. I don't own any guns. I lost all those.
Boating accident,
we don't lose shit, Shamblin.
Boating accident.
It was a boating accident.
We don't lose
Out
shit.
of my
Don't
control.
own a single gun.
Dude, don't even try. Your door's getting kicked in anyway. We both are now.
Shit, you're there now.
The Democrats had a briefing on me last session.
Guys, I don't know if you knew or not, but
Oh, you're
All
Fucking
fucking tyrants.
hey, we got our one F. All right.
You mean the corner school for alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, where we can all buy? Yeah.
Oh, we're working on that here at Spartan. We are adding cigars. It's official. We applied for our license, and alcohol will be coming soon. ATF outlet here at Spartan Defense Armory.
Bring it.
My favorite, I would say, that I've shot is going to be a SIG X5 Legion, or is it? Yeah, X5
320.
Legion. Yeah, 320.
You need a flux, baby.
You need to come and get a Flux
You
Raider
need to
from
come
us,
get a
man.
flux.
And
One of
then-
3
Shop Smart
dealers
in Defense.
nationwide. They're awesome.
Oh, I might come check it out.
You should.
And then I
Make sure you
really,
buy it
really
from me,
want to
Keep
I
going.
really want to get a Henry Supreme.
Okay.
It's the lever action that takes AR mags.
Yep. Beautiful gun.
Yeah.
Good suppressor host. Get that in 300 blackout. Throw a dead air or a Q suppressor on there, or flow from Huck's Works. You'll be a very happy man.
Awesome. Well, everybody knows I just love free guns. So my favorite kind of gun that I have is a free one.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for everybody that tuned in tonight. Please share this video tonight. Share our stuff. It really helps us get past that.
Hit the
2 a.m.
subscribe, hit the bell, like, comment, support us. Head over to xamericanews.com.
Check it out.
And check us out. Follow them on the X platform. Share our information. Head to all of our platforms. Donate. Help us save the 2A in Colorado.
And stay tuned for more 2A information for Colorado and nationwide.
Woo
Coming to you from the Second Syndicate, where the second is first.
Peace out.
Peace out. Thank you, guys. God bless.